things that are by the book. I'm going to be talking about things that I have done and probably use myself as an example along the way. So first, inspiring a generation of lifelong change makers, and the paper is presented by me. Please, can you help me on that end with the presentation? Since I'm having a hard time seeing it here, please. Okay, so first,
so just a minute, go ahead, we'll do that right away.
Okay. So first I'm going to be talking about what is service and why does service matter. Now, for me, service is an action, which I have to check that online, so that's an online, but service is the action of helping or doing work for someone. And then service can also be termed as offering assistance. Any of this is correct because what is service? Service is when you're doing something for someone. It's not even for yourself. When you're doing something for someone, when you're doing something selfless, I like to say that something selfless for someone, anyone, for your country, for as long as you don't expect a personal gain in return. That's it for me, when you're offering assistance. Now, why does service matter? Service is more than a one-time project. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Now, a lot of people see service. I like to see, I see a lot of people when we talk about service, say, but I'm doing it now. Please pardon me if I use church right now. I go to church, I sleep, I do this, I do that. But most times, those things that we say we do and we call it service, it's actually I service. Service is something that you do from within. It's a lifestyle. When she was reading my bio, she read some of the things I am recently doing. If I tell you some of the services I have provided that I didn't even get a thank you, but I am still doing it. I'm doing it because it's a lifestyle, it's inbuilt, it's something I do not expect a thank you for. So service is something we need to understand that it's a lifestyle. Then service has the ability and power to spark change in young people. You are doing something selflessly. You do it to a point you think people are not watching. People are watching, especially the young ones. And then you realize that while you are doing that thing, some other younger ones are emulating you. So service matters because it has the ability and the power to start change in the younger generation. Yes, we're a young generation, but there's a younger generation that's looking onto us. Then, why does service also matter? The goal it is to create an impact that lasts beyond the program. For me, service is it matters to create a goal that has an impact that lasts beyond a lifetime. I like to see it as doing something that will stand the test of time. Even when I am no longer there, I do tell my colleagues, at some point, what will you be remembered for? I say that to them all the time. And so service is that thing that you do that creates an impact. Now, there's a program that's been discussed for a while, for a month now. Now, service is that thing that you do, that you pick from this conversation, that you pick from this training for the past 1 month, that will go beyond the program, that will go beyond all that we have been talking about. Service is that goal. So next slide, please. I can see a slide. Next, I think I'm on the test right now. So while you're rendering this service, on the next one, I've left this one, I'm on the next one. So while you're rendering this service, and the next slide, please. Okay, this is one. Thank you very much. So while you're rendering this service, there's something we call impact assessment. So what do we mean by impact assessment? Impact assessment is the process used to evaluate the level of impact. For me, that's using this. Impact assessment for me is to know, oh, what have I done? Oh, how have I done it? Oh, who have I impacted in? Who are the people that are beneficiaries of what I have done? So that's why you see that service is not something that you just provide because you have to be paid for it, or you provide because you want people to see you doing it. No, there must be a motive behind it. And then, how do you know what you have done? It is by impact assessment. An impact assessment, like I said, is the process used to evaluate the level of impact as a change maker. What level of impact have I done or impacted in the younger generation or in my generation, or the generation is too big in my small sector or in my small state? Then I went ahead to say, what is the importance of impact assessment? Impact assessment is a way of knowing if what you planned out to do, if it is working. I intend to make people in my street learn how to start cleaning their environment. So what do I do? I start cleaning my environment. I do it for 1 month, they laugh at me. I do it for another month, they make mockery of me. I do it the third month, they keep laughing at me. One day, somebody else will start it and start cleaning the environment. So I say, it's not only this lady that is there cleaning my environment. Why can't I also clean my environment? Now, that's impact. I have impacted on one person. So it is important to have impact assessment to know if what I really set out to do, if it is working, fine. Oh, if it's not working, what else can I do? So it also helps me to learn, or it helps you and I to learn what went well and what didn't. So usually you give yourself a timeline for making impact, and then you come back to the table and say, oh, with what I have done, how have I impacted? What did I do well? And what did I not do well? How have I done it? Did it resonate well with the people? Did I make any mistake? Or was it perfect? And can I build on what I have done? Now, think of it as asking yourself, did I make a difference? Oh, in my small circle, in my small state, was I able to make a difference? Was I able to make sure that one person changed from what the person was doing and started emulating something good? Or what the service that I tried to provide, somebody emulates that? Now, how do you measure it? You measure impact by setting clear goals from the start. Oh, now, I just said when she read my bio, she talked about me volunteering for AYGS, a project in my state right now, Edo State, where it's the eradicate malaria. And so my duty is to tell people, just like other projects that I've done before now, I've been part of the measles vaccines to tell people to come out and go take your measles vaccine. There was one that was recently done, sorry, I can't really remember the name of that vaccine, when young girls were asked to take, and a lot of people said, when you ask them to take the vaccine, it means that they are going to be, they can't have peace in the nearest future and all of that. I was part of those who volunteered to come out as civil society to say, we have people who are taking this vaccine, and definitely nothing will happen to them. So now, how do you measure impact? How do I measure my impact in all I have done, in everything I have set out to do? First, I set a clear goal from the start. Oh, I am volunteering for AYGS on the malaria project. What do I need? I need people in my community to be free or to reduce malaria from the level of what malaria is doing to my people in my community, to reduce it to the barest minimum. That's one of the things I need. So how do I go about it? So track what you did, activities, and what changed. Now, I can tell you this project started in January. Like I said, I'm going to use myself as an example. And when it started, I had goals. What do I hope to achieve? There are drugs which the state government and other organizations have provided in the health facility. Who do I need to go there? I needed to set my goals. Oh, women, children, pregnant women. And then how do I go about my goals? How do I achieve what I need to achieve? I have to find out, in order to reach, I can reach women easier. Most times, I can also reach some men, that's also easy. But at other times, who do I know in my community that can influence her? Who do I know that can speak to this subject? And then I pick some key leaders, like we had the head of the vigilante. I went to meet him and met him. I said, please, while you are going around, you and your boss, tell people that the health center, there is free medical tests and drugs for malaria. I didn't stop there. I also went through the Enoge and others. That when you have meetings here, help me disseminate these messages to the people that come here. So I had to plan my activities to make sure that I get my goals the way I wanted it. Then, what changed? My outcome. I'm talking about how to measure impact now. My outcome. I found out that for the past 2 months, a lot of people have been going there. I reached out to the health center. What's going on? Oh, yes. People have been coming. They say they are from you. Even people I have not met. Why? Because I had activities that helped me meet my goals, what I needed. And then ask questions who benefited. That's the same thing I did. Oh, please, ma, who benefited? Who came for the drugs? Which people came? Was there any challenges? Is anything going wrong? And then they told me, oh, some women came, oh, some did not, some came but complained that the road is not good and all of that. So these are questions that were asked. But at the end of the day, I have been able to measure, even though the project has not ended, but I've been able to measure my impact for the past 3 months on the project that I'm volunteering. So you see why impact assessment is very important. Now, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, learning from successes and setbacks. I just talked about something just now. There will always be setbacks and success stories in all of this. I just finished saying I had gone to the health center to find out, and they said, oh, some drugs are still there because some people complained of the road, some did this, oh, some did not do this. Some of these are setbacks. In fact, they are not just little. There are so many setbacks. Sometimes funding can be a setback. Sometimes resistance can be a setback. I've had a community I walked into to tell people, oh, there's spray malaria testing and field drugs. And they rebelled back to ask me, why is it only malaria you are doing? Why do you not do typhoid and other sickness? You know? The minor, and they didn't even allow me to talk to half of the people in the community. They were like, no, please go. If it is not all, don't even come and say half. That's a setback for me. But I didn't let it determine me because in all of this service conversation, volunteering that we're talking about, it's important to celebrate your wins. I celebrate my win in everything I do, no matter how small it is. If we have drugs in the health center and out of 50 people, only 10 people went to use the drug, I will celebrate it. Oh, thank God. I am glad that with my conversation with these people, 10 have been able to use it. Oh, with the conversations I've been having in my state about domestic violence, sexual abuse, and all the evil vices. Oh, a few women, if even if most of them still go back to the abuser. Oh, a few women are now waking up to know that yes, I deserve to be a human being. I don't deserve to be a punching bag. That's a small win that we celebrate. We have cases in court that in fact, out of 10 cases, you feel like 6 are still pending, and in 4, 3 years, there's a win, regardless on a rape case or a sexual abuse case. And you see us celebrate it because for us, we need to celebrate the small wins that we get. Secondly, don't fear failure. Every setback is a lesson. When most of us talk, I've seen so many people talk, but so many motivational speakers talk, so many people talk. You hear them talk about how they just tried the business and how it works, how it clicks. It doesn't always happen like that. For me, I got into this field in 2012. I started as a suicide activist, but something happened to me, and for a while I was lost. And I told myself, I will not allow this happen to me and let it happen to other people. And so I came into my field, which I am now, I'm still learning though, I wouldn't want, but 2012 to now, to tell you that I'm someone who does matter a little bit in my faith. But it didn't mean I do not fear failure. I have tried a lot of times for something. There are some projects I want to do. I'll reach out. I wouldn't get funders. I wouldn't get donors. I would just feel so bad. Oh, I couldn't do this. Oh, I needed to help these women with a project, with grinding machines, with all of. There was a time I wrote a proposal to NGB. I needed to empower some women of domestic violence. At the end of the day, I only got one grinding machine. Did I feel bad? But did I allow it? This was many years ago. I think this was 2017. Did I allow it to shine me? No, it didn't. So please do not allow failure. When you fail, come back to the table. I don't have a table. I have a table in my house, I have a table in my house, but I like to sit in front of my mirror and ask myself, okay, I failed at this. What do I do right? What do I do next? What do I do? How do I go about it? And then listen to me now. You might think I have it all planned out. Let me talk to you. Last year, in fact, last year I failed at something that everyone knows I have been good at. And it was regard to the elections in our state, and I failed. There was something I was supposed to do for a particular organization, and I failed. It wasn't my fault, but I couldn't explain to them that it wasn't my fault, but I failed. For a week, I felt bad. In fact, I left my house, I went to my parents, and I locked myself inside the room. I was there. My kids, I didn't even know because they were with my mom, so I didn't even bother to eat. But on the seventh day, I would just come out, eat, and go back to the room and lock my door. My mom was very well. And then on the seventh day, I came out and told myself, I have young people that I mentor. How would they feel if they know that I failed and I didn't dust myself up and move on because I was failed? And when I said that, I didn't know my mom heard me because I was looking at the mirror in my room and I said it. And then she knocked and said, please, you. And I can tell you that in the space of 1 week, I looked at where I failed, the mistakes I made. Oh, this person was the one who made this mistake that did affect me. I cut down every mistake I made, packaged myself again, and came back into the picture like nothing happened. Why? Because I made my setback a lesson. And I can tell you now that I am very sure I will not make that mistake again. So in all that you do, please do not fear failure. And know that every setback is a lesson. Now reflect at every point in your life while you're providing service, in quiet time, whatever it is you're doing, always reflect, what will I do differently next time? Now that I succeeded, how can I do something better than what I have just done? That's why you see people who have made successes, people who have succeeded in most things, they try to beat their goals. Oh, last time I was able to reach 1,000 people for what I was doing. Next year, I set myself on the goal. And you outside, you're wondering, this person has made it. Why is this person still struggling? It means that we're trying to do something differently every time. And that's as a result of reflection. You sit down, oh, I made a mistake. What can I do like I did last year? How can I come back to being the army that everybody talk about during elections? Oh, if you want to do elections in a Edo State, when you mention 5 men in civil society, you mention army, go to army, is your go-to person for whatever you need, sensitization, advocacy, in relationship with INEC, the police, and all of that. How? How did I come back? I reflected and did come back to the picture last year. So, okay. So, scaling your project. It's important to put your project on a scale. Don't just do because you want to do. Like I said earlier, please, service is a lifestyle. You can't force it. You can't act it. It has to be you. It has to come from you. You have to sit down and think of what you want to do, how you want to provide service. There is someone I know for many years who has been a traffic warden. He is not an official traffic warden, but we're giving him that title. Come rain, come sun, he is there, helping with the traffic. And the funny thing about it is he's a person with disability. He helps with traffic in the morning. He helps with traffic. So when there's traffic, you not think, oh, this man not there. If he was there, traffic would not. And he's not being told. After a while, people started supporting him. Who is driving past to give him Gary? Who is doing this to give him rice? Who is doing this to give him money? And he enjoyed it. He enjoyed what he was doing, not because of the money. I can tell you that for a long time he did it without. In fact, at some point, I knew a lot of people would push him and say, "Leave the road, waiting you they do for road." Sorry if I'm using speaking, but that's our. It's just buttresses my point, you know. So it's important when you're scaling your project that you think bigger. How can my idea help more people? Yes, I succeeded with test running. I did 50. I was able to reach out to people. Now, how can my idea reach even more people? How can what I have done, how can it reach the initially you have started with your community, with your environment, with your clique. Now, how can it extend to the people in my area? How can it extend to the people in my local government? How can it extend to the people in my state and Nigeria at large? First, you need to think bigger. Two, you need to partner with schools, local groups, platforms, or like minds in your community or environment. I had made an example earlier. When I needed support for the AYGS project of malaria, what did I do? I needed to partner with schools. I needed to partner with community leaders. I needed to reach out to people I know are influencers. So in all that you do, you cannot work in silos. You cannot work alone. Make sure you partner with schools. I have done a volunteer work some years ago on substance abuse rehabilitation and prevention. And that has taken me to the US, which was sponsored by the US government as an international resource leadership under the International Resource Leadership Program. Now, what was I doing? I knew there was something prevalent in my community. We talk about rape, we talk about sexual abuse, we talk about this. But what is triggering it? We realized that there was an underlying factor, which was drugs. And I went into research. Why are people taking drugs? What's the level of drug intake in my group? And I saw that it was something else. And so we started partnering with schools. We started going to schools to talk about saying no to drugs. That was the campaign I did. Speak out, break the silence, say no to drugs. And we targeted family secondary schools. We reached out to local groups. We spoke on different platforms, social media, it was on my Facebook page. We had, I had some form of relationship with the NUJ. So when most of these media people have their sessions, they just call on me, can you speak? Even if you're not, it's not live, you can call in and then we'll give you the time to talk about it. That was partnership. That was, I used their platform to speak on my project. Relate with like minds in your community and environment. There must be someone in your environment and your community that has a like mind like you. Relate, oh, this is my idea. I intend to reach out to other people. I intend to think big on what I am doing, and I intend to partner with you to be able to succeed in what I need to do. Also, it is important to leverage on tech and social media to amplify your reach. Now, for example, I am speaking. I am speaking from somewhere, in fact, I'm isolated to where I am now. I think there's just one person. But what's my reach? I am talking to over, I'm talking to people in over 29 states in Nigeria right now. That is me, and that is the Windows of America, leveraging on tech and social media to amplify the reach of this conversation. Quite a whole lot of other people will also join me. You know, so it's important to use tech, it's important to use social media to amplify your reach in service. Next slide, please. Then, making it sustainable. I'm sure you will ask, how do you get the funding to do the things you do? Because whether you like it or not, money comes to play. And you know, that's where passion comes in. That's where it is something that's imbued. That's where it is used that it should be. Now, how do you make it sustainable when there's no money? When you start a project, or when you start a service, or when you volunteer for something, and you don't have the funds for it. Now, over time, people start projects and abandon them for one reason or another. And one of those reasons includes funding. So now, how can we sustain what we are doing and the change we intend to make when the funding stops? Now, when we even write to donors, they tell you when the funding stops, how do you sustain it? I beat my chest to say this. That's why this session is very interesting because, like I told you people, I'm going to be talking about myself. I have not gotten a single funding from as many organizations, UN Women, USAID, all of even my uh, um, IVLP, USB. I have tried. There was a call for proposal. There's been calls for proposal I have written, but I've never gotten funding. But how have I been able to stay relevant over this year? Like I said, I'm not going to tell you something that's out of it. I am telling you my experiences, how I have been able to stay afloat for years, how the name Umoru has been a name in Edo State when you mention me and volunteerism and human rights. Now, for one, keep it simple, affordable, and people driven. When the funds come in, fine, we appreciate that. But when it does not, you also manage with the little that you have. Also, make it people driven. Have people around you. Have people around you that you need to use. I don't mean using people, but that will assist you, that will also volunteer, that will buy the idea with you. In the previous slide, I have shared something about partner with schools, partner with people, platforms, or like minds in your community. So when you keep a project you're supposed to do simple, when you keep it simple, it's affordable. You need to do a town hall meeting on a conversation. Oh, let's keep my community clean. You need to do a town hall meeting. And you know that in that town hall meeting, you have to buy drinks, you have to print banners, you have to do this. One thing you should do, reach out to the other person who you have discussed with and make sure the person buys the idea. Oh, this is what I intend to do. If the person cannot support financially, then leverage on, oh, my community, once in a month, there's always community meeting. Or once in a while, my local has meetings that he holds with leaders, elders, and all of that. Now you can leverage on it. When there's a meeting, you go there. Oh, Enoke, please, I have something I want to say to you. You speak your language or you speak English or whatever that means. I don't speak the name, but I have access to my Enoke and I speak to you. And I tell him, this is what I think you should help me tell the people, you know? So your answer, I have something to say, oh, my elders, and good afternoon, my G, good afternoon, everybody. Oh, we are talking about the road that is bad, or there's malaria, there's a lot of sickness going around, and it's because we're not keeping our roads clean. It's because there is water around. It's because our environment is dirty. Speak to their minds. At that point, you see that you have been able to keep it, what you want to do simple. It's now affordable because you didn't have to buy drinks. You just leverage on whatever they were already doing. And then you have told them what the challenge is. Oh, people are dying of malaria. The malaria drugs are no longer working. That's what I do. I have to tell him all of that. And it's as a result of dirty environment. When you keep trees, or no, not trees, sorry, grasses around the environment, they breed mosquitoes. And at the end of the day, it comes back to bite us. And most of these drugs are no longer working. And my lawyer said, oh, that's right, that's true, that's true, that's true. And I said, hey, sir, please, can you help us? Also talk to people to keep the environment clean while they use the health center. I didn't spend money to buy or to rent a speaker or a sound crier. I just made it people driven. It was simple, it was affordable, and people helped me drive the process. Then, it is important to build a team that believes in your mission. You cannot work in isolation. I know someone in his or her mind will be saying, oh, I shared an idea with somebody, and the person stole my idea. Oh, welcome to my world. It happens all the time. But does it make me look straight in people? No. I still have a team. I have a group of people in my organization that have my mind. Those people were the people who, whenever I'm not around, you see them doing what I will do. And when you ask them, oh, is Annie there? They'll tell you no. How are you doing like Annie said? Because we would not do what she would not do. And that's because I have a team of people who believe in my mission. Call them tomorrow and tell them anything, whatever you like about me. They will tell you thank you. Because they believe in what I have come to stand for. So it is important to build a team that believes in your mission. It might be someone from your family that you start. My very first cheerleader. Unfortunately, I'm not in the office. I would have called her to come to my office so you see her face just once. I celebrate her all the time. When I got into this space, my mom was the very first person who believed in my mission. My mom she wasn't seeing the end. She was just saying that she knows that one day her daughter will, if not change the world, will actually leave her name in the sands of time. And she has been one person who has believed in me. Sometimes when I am down, she says, you will not, you will do this, you said you will do it, you must do it, you can do it. So build a team. Your team can consist of your friends. Your team can consist of 2 or 1 member of your family member. Just have one first and build on that one. Or I do have them. They are supportive. I just send the message and say, okay, I need to do this. And she cheers me up and cheers me up and cheers me up. And sometimes I tell her, hey, the way you have cheered me up, it looks like I can just hold a moving truck now. And she will just laugh. So it's important to build a team that believes in your mission. Then create systems. Mentorship. While I was talking I mentioned mentorship. I have a group of young people that I mentor. 2 years ago, the IVLP team, I was part of that team who were in ACC for a month to mentor young children in secondary school. In fact, I think my session was for 2 weeks straight. And guess what? I was heavy. If I came back, it was in July. Yes. I think my session was first week and second week of July. I came back, attended another program, and gave birth at the end of July. My IVLP president practically called me to say, Annie, you are a strong person. Now, I am telling you this not to celebrate me. I am telling you because it's part of me. It's something that was innate with me. It's something that I don't need money for it. I don't need money to do anything. I don't need money to mentor anybody. It's already in you. And then for feedback loop, when we did that mentorship program, for a few months, I kept on getting conversations. Oh, Auntie, thank you for that thing you taught us. Now I have this. Now I was able to do this with my friends. I was able because there was one thing I taught them was how to have a circle of influence. Just like I just talked about building a team. A circle of influence. People that can push you. People that can celebrate you. People that will say, don't worry, we have your back. Even when you're making mistakes, they are there to hold your hand. And so for a month, I kept on, even when I gave birth, they kept on calling. Oh, Auntie, thank you. We enjoyed. Now we have our friends. I've been able to know our friends. I've been able to celebrate. I've been able to do this. And once in a while, I do check in on some of them. Most of the school sensitizations I've gone to, I give them a personal number. Catch me up if there's anything. Once in a while, I see them. Sometimes I see them, someone stops me on the street, Auntie, you don't know me. I say, no. Oh, you came to my school a few years ago and you talked about sexual abuse and you talked about how we should speak up. Thank you very much because some of the things you told me was able to prevent a social time something like this almost happened. And it gave me joy. So it's important to build or create a system. Mentorship, we have that lacking now in our society. Quite a lot of people want to be the boss. And then when they are out of the picture, nobody gets take over from them. If I am out, a lot of times I step down from my EDO to volunteer for other groups. And I ask people who are actually leading the organizations. Why? Because I've been able to mentor them to take my place when I am not there. So it's important to have a feedback loop to get responses. How did you do this? The people you're providing service for, the people you're volunteering for, they need to give you feedback. You need to also hear from them how well you have impacted them. If you have made a mistake, you will still hear from their mouth. If you have said something, because most times, some things that different backgrounds, some things that we don't take serious, some words, some languages, some communities might not like it. Some people might not find it funny. So when you create the feedback loop, you can be able to get, oh, ma, that thing you said today, I don't like this thing that you said. We forbid it. We are cultural people. Oh, okay, fine, thank you. I'm sorry. I won't say that next time. That you can only get that when you create a feedback. Um, when you create a feedback loop. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, lifelong volunteerism. At least I am an example. Like I said, 2012, this 2025, and I am still volunteering non-stop. I am still providing services non-stop. People still come to me for advice. Oh, uh, along the line, I got some certificates as a counselor. So you can walk up to me and talk to me about issues. I provide advice and that's it. Along the line of what I'm doing too, I had also acquired the certificate as a mediator, on crisis and conflict. And so people still come, oh, I have issues, oh, this is what's happening, or there's a community issue, and I quit. So volunteering never stops. Volunteering does not stop. It continues. It, as a matter of fact, it grows with you. When I started in 2012, it was me and just civil society, what do I know? The few human rights, freedom of speech. But as time went on, I started growing. I started acquiring different knowledge. I started giving back. Now, you acquire the knowledge, it doesn't stick with you. You give it back. That's why it's continuous. It grows with you as it grows. So over time, I have learned quite a whole lot in different fields. Now I can say I am volunteering on matters of malaria. I'm also volunteering to do sensitization because I am part of the CSO team on the administration of criminal justice. Now that's a justice sector. You would wonder what is somebody who studied microbiology in school is doing in the justice sector. And I am the public relations officer there. So, and that's because as I was growing, I was acquiring more knowledge to give back to the society. So I can say to myself that I have grown to a level. I am still growing. And the volunteering does not stop. Before we started this session, I was coming from a conversation we were having on an Amnesty International team that was in the state, a conversation that we were having on mob action. Or when people just gather and beat somebody and burn the person, whether you're a thief or whether you're not, what are the solutions? That was the conversation I was coming from. To set up and then come online. So you see that this volunteering does not stop. Now it is important that you find groups that match your passion and zeal, either online or in your city. I am doing that. I am there. I just mentioned Amnesty International. They have a team in my state. Administration of criminal justice. I am a part. Some people will say, ah, she's everywhere. No. It's because of my passion. It's because of my growth. It's because of my volunteerism. In malaria, when they're talking about crisis, when there's issue with women, different groups reach out. When there's issue with women groups, NDDC calls, oh, Annie, come and help us with this and this. So it is important to match your passion and your view with online groups and groups in your city. Be ready to learn and unlearn. I go to places even when I know about that topic more than the person facilitating. I keep what I know, my knowledge, I brought it in my bag or I leave it at the gate. Sit down and learn from somebody else. I sit down and learn from the group that is speaking and become a part of them. Do I become a part of them to hold the position? No, I do not. I do not become a part of them to become a leader. No, no, no. There are a lot of groups I am in this state that I'm just a slow member. Yes. When I now speak, you say, oh, you are there. Please, can you come? No, I can't. I can only provide advice. Because for me, volunteerism, I don't intend to achieve anything more than giving back to my society. Now, check out and join platforms like the UN volunteers, like the Red Cross, local NGOs, school clubs, and all of that. It's important. They also volunteer. I used to be a member of the Lions Club. At a point, yes, probably I wasn't around and all of that, but I am looking to go back to it. They always give back to the community. The Red Cross always give back to the community. We in the NGO and CSO sector, oh, we are always giving back to the community. School club, yes, we do. So it is important to check this out. And you're doing it for yourself. Check these platforms out. Check them. Check. Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So it's important that you check out this group and then be a part of this group. Next slide, please. Why is it worth it? I have been speaking. Why is it worth it? You see that all I have said. Feel. The more you provide service, the more you learn and build confidence. I have been talking about all that I've been a part of. I didn't start out to be this vocal. I didn't start out to be this smart and confident. In fact, the first group I was part of in my state in 2012, I was going to be the PRO, but I never PRO'd anything because I was very scared. What would people say? When they say PRO, come and say something on camera, I was always running. But you can't call me now. I've been on national TV. You can't call me now to speak. And you see, I've been speaking for I think more than 30 minutes, and I am still speaking. And there's still a whole lot where it's coming from. Where did that, or how did I build that skill? I built it because of service. In the process of service, you're building confidence, you're building skills, and you're building purpose. The more you do something, the more you become a master of that thing that you're doing. And it helps you build confidence. So while you're giving back, you see that you're learning. While you're giving back, you're also learning and you're learning more. Now, interestingly, you don't need to be perfect. Service does not require perfection, just be willing. I told you when I started, I wasn't this vocal. When I started, I wasn't this smart. I wasn't even perfect. I was nothing close to perfection. In fact, sometimes when I would want to speak, I go somewhere and I like to speak, I'll raise up my hand at some other point, I'll put it down and ask myself, are you sure this thing I want to say, people will not laugh at me? Are you sure people will not mock me that what I'm going to say does not conform? It does not conform with what the program is about. But I was willing. I was determined to do what I know how to do and learn in the process. And now I can tell you, if I go to a program where someone knows me, they would want me to say. Sometimes I say, I don't even want to say anything. And why is that? I am a young person. And why is that? It's because I was willing to learn and I am learning. And at a point in this my conversation, I have said I am still learning and will continue to learn. Now, it's important to know that a life of service is a life of meaning. I can't share enough some of the goods I have gotten, some of the favors that I've gotten because of a service I've provided and I have forgotten. There was a day I was stranded somewhere and a vehicle just passed and stopped. After I go to madam, I was stranded. I needed to withdraw money and my ATM was not working. I don't know what happened that day. I couldn't even call my husband. I couldn't call. I think there was a general network shutdown. And somebody called. I didn't want to enter. And it reminded me, and see, many years ago, I was arrested for something I didn't do. And you went to the station because they reported it to my office. And you went to the station and you spoke to the police and proved my innocence, and I was released without paying a dime. And he said, please, wherever you're going to today, let me take you. He did drop me. Brothers and sisters, I also got an envelope of money. I think that is, I think it was 20,000, I can't really remember. But why am I saying this? I didn't envisage that at some point in my life I was going to meet that person again. As a matter of fact, I didn't even remember the person. So living a life of service, we don't know where life takes us from. I provided service to a point, and someone in the US consulate came to Benin. I like to make this example to my young people. She came to Benin on elections, I think that was 2016, yes. And when she met me, somebody just told her, if you want to, the team came to Benin for our election. And somebody said, if you want to, she was told from Abuja that if you want to get issues on elections in Odo, talk to Annie. 2015, I was still very young. I wasn't even married. And so she called. I think the US consulate was there, the British High Commission. There were a team that just came. And so for 2 days, I was meeting with them. We're talking about issues on the elections and all of that. In all that I was doing, I was just me. When they finished, they were about to listen out called and said, I see your pattern. I see your view. What exactly, apart from elections, what are you doing? I said, oh, I am doing, at that time, I just finished my proposal on the substance abuse, I listened to NDDC, they didn't respond, I think a few people. And so I just told that casually, I said, this is what I'm working on, but now I am doing full sensitization, spending when I can get support. And she said, oh, the US consulate right now, we're not, I will reach out to my colleagues to see if they can support what you're doing. I said, oh, thank you. I gave her my number, she took mine and she left. And she kept on checking on me. After a while, she called me like 2 months later. I said, Annie, I said, ma'am, she said, please, I'll try to see if I can get some funding for you, but we couldn't get. Can you travel to the US to study more on substance abuse? I now ask her, I'm sorry, you travel to the US to study on substance abuse. Who's funding? Who is, what is, I don't understand. She said she's going to the US funded. And trust me, something I've been doing for years without recognition. I went to the US. It was like a shock to everyone. Studied, came back to Nigeria. Now I'm an IVLP alumni of substance abuse, drugs and rehabilitation, and I've been making waves. I just said this story so that you understand. I don't have a backbone. I don't have a political backbone. I don't have anybody who is speaking on my behalf. But one thing I need you to understand is that your life of service is a life of meaning. You might not know who is watching you. You might not know at one point they will need to mention you somewhere. But trust me, it ends up coming back meaningful. Next slide, please. Now, next slide, please. Hello? Hello, can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can, we can hear you.
Okay. So, be the spark, keep the fire going. There will be times when you feel like giving up. Trust me when I say that. There will be times when it just feels like you're going and nobody's appreciating you. I was there. I've done that. But trust me, there's nothing now that anybody will say about volunteerism and service that will make me go back. As long as I just keep my fire, I kept my fire going, I kept my staff going, and somehow my service was bringing the relevant people to me with what I have to show on ground. So your service matters now and always. If you're not doing it for anybody, doing it for the better people. Sometimes I tell myself, I am not doing it for anybody, but I am doing it because I want a better society where my children can grow up. And every time I have the opportunity to speak anywhere, government, stakeholder meetings, I say, I am not doing any of this because I want to do it, or because I want to be doing it. But I want a strong society for my children to be able to do. So the service matters now, and let's build a culture where service is who we are and not just what we do. Let's be, hello?
Go
Hello?
ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay. So let's build a culture where service is who we are and not just what we do. In all of this, let's, I don't want to use the word eye service, but I like to classify it like that sometimes. You know, let's do it because it is who we. Let's do it because it is who we are. There was a time people would say, "Oh, I need to do over Sabu. I need to use students." But now they now see that it is me. It is not, it is me giving back to the society. It is me. My family members will tell you, oh, Annie did not come to this function because it is the society that wants her. They call me society madam. Why? Because I am now known for it. It is who I am. When something is going wrong somewhere around where I am, you hear comments like, please don't do it, or you know, madam is here, she will say what you have done is not right. Why do they say that? Because they already know it is part of me. It is me. And not just what I want to do. It is not do it because you have to do it. It is do it because I am the change that I want to see. I am not a perfect change, but I am a change in progress. So when people around me are seeing that I have changed in something and I'm doing some things like this, they will start emulating me whether they like it or not. Before you know it, people will start emulating them. So from my small circle, I have been able to change my little circle, my community, my environment, my state, my local government, my state, and then at the end of the day, my country at large. With that little thing that you're doing. So next slide, please. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and I hope I didn't um, waste too much time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Annie. That was a very detailed presentation talking about volunteering. And I'm excited to let you know that I also am an IVLP fellow
Yay!
2012. So I really understand where you're coming from. All right, so it's time for our question and answer session. So I want to encourage directors from our different American spaces to indicate by raising their virtual hands if they have participants who have questions. And I know there are lots of questions that will come up, but first, we have one in the chat box. So what role does volunteering play in fostering a sense of community especially among young people? That's an awesome question. Please, over to you, Annie.
Okay, so the question, what role does volunteerism play in fostering a sense of community, especially among
Yes,
young people?
among young people. Yeah.
Now, you see, in this generation, when you ask a young person to do something for you, he asks you how much. I don't know if people have read that. How much will you pay? How much do you have? And for me, it doesn't resonate well with me. Because when we were growing up, there were things that we just do. It's service. An old elderly woman is carrying something on her head, and we help her to carry it to her house and say thank you and walk away. Now, someone will want to help you, but we ask how much you want to pay. Your vehicle will fall in a ditch and they will negotiate how much you have to pay before they help you out. So, when you volunteer and people around you see you, people in your community, the young people, all of these conversations are for the young people. The young people in the community are seeing that, oh, this person constantly does this and does not collect money. A day will come, they will also think, whether we like it or not, they have a way of having conversation. I have seen my little kids sit down and talk about what mommy is always doing and why mommy said they should not do it. And then the senior ones will now say, because mommy likes us to sleep on time, so she does not want us to watch TV. They analyze some of the things I do. And then you now hear at some point, and the other one will say, can't you see that when mommy comes in and she finishes everything and plays with us, we now go and sleep too because she has to wake up early. Now that's an example for them. Because I don't fit to watch TV at night when it's late in the night. So they now see me as a role model where they have to also sleep on time to wake up on time. Now that's a clear example. We volunteer in our community. Oh, there is a need for something. They need to clear the grass in the community, and the youth are waiting for money. And you come out and you've done your bit. You do it once, you do it twice. Believe you me, the third time somebody will join you, especially a friend of yours. At another time, you will see like 2 or 3 of them will now stand with you and be gisting with you. After that, the next time you're clearing, maybe one person will say, hey, give me cutlass, let me just clear small. Before you know, it now becomes an habit. Everybody is coming together as a community to play. Why? Because one person volunteered it. I hope I answered that question.
Yes, I think so. Thank you very much. I think we have from the screen, Iti Calabar, Bauchi, and Abuja, as well as Oshogo. They have their hands up. So let's start from Calabar.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chemist Faith Sutu Patrick Inezi, the lecturer at the Department of Pure and Industrial Chemistry, University of Calabar. I have a contribution and also a question. Firstly, I want to encourage the young and prospective volunteers here present today. You know, in as much as we have challenges in the course of our volunteering, it's very important we focus on the impact this our volunteering brings to the community, just like Annie rightly said about impact and assessment. Yes. Then for my question, please, the question is to what Miss Annie, Mrs. Annie. I want to find out how you were able to navigate through the IBLP program. Of course, I know that Ms. M is also a fellow of the IBLP program. I want you to share your experiences with us and how you were able to navigate through. Thank you.
Okay, so by navigate, you mean after when I came back, right? I need to get, sorry, can you hear me? I need to get the question very well. It was breaking at some point.
So
you wanted
thank
to find
you.
out how
Annie, did you get the question?
I didn't really get it.
Okay, I think from what I heard, okay, what she asked was she wants to know how you navigated the process of being selected as an IVLP.
Okay, so I'm going to answer that. Sincerely, when I told you the brief story of how I was nominated, that was when the help stopped. In fact, she called and said, I'm also nominated. I said, okay, fine. And she did. And so she sent my name to another colleague, and I started talking with them from there. It will interest you to know it was during that process I did my international passport. For a long time, I've been thinking it, I will do, but because of that, I have to do it. Now, I wouldn't want to say in grace, because when I use grace, a lot of us young people, we just assume that it is God that came down to do it for me. My work spoke for me. I didn't have anybody to speak for me. In my IVLP team on substance abuse, I was the only Edo person. If I were 10, 5 from Lagos, 4 from Abuja. I was the only person from Edo, and they all kept on wondering. In fact, in my team, if you're familiar with Dr. Maimuna Kadiri, she's like psychologist, she's a psychologist of psychiatrist. She was a part of my team. We had somebody from NDLEA, Abuja and Lagos. We had someone from Silverbird. We had all of them, medical people. I was the only stranger, so to say, because I was from Edo 1, and I wasn't in the medical field. I wasn't a media person. But how did I strive? Because of the work I have been doing. My work spoke for me. In fact, that's all I can tell you. I didn't know it was possible, or in fact, until I was boarding. So every time I have to talk about this, I don't like to use grace, because now we have a lot of churches and all that we say, by this time tomorrow you have money. It goes beyond that. Yes, there was grace at some point, but grace did not just fall on my head. The grace worked with what I had to show for it. And what did I have to show for it? My service to humanity, my volunteering service on what I have done on substance abuse.
All right, thank you so much.
That was how I was able to get. So basically, it comes back to your service and volunteering.
All right, thank you. The one thing I know about IVLP, your work must speak for you. And then it's not a program you can apply for. Somebody somewhere will notice you and nominate you. So if you want to be that person, please work hard. Let your impact speak. Okay, can we go to Bauchi? Bauchi, please, can you unmute and ask your question?
Good afternoon. My question is, I have a lot of ideas in my head, but I do not seem to be able to make my moves. And I think I make a good partner, I make a good volunteer. Is it okay to stay a volunteer or a partner for as long as possible? Or am I just being lazy and being afraid of failing? Is it okay to just be a volunteer or partner with somebody, share my ideas, and just stay like that? Or should I make my own moves or be a founder, create my own organization, my own stuffs? That's my question.
Hello, Annie, did you get that question?
Yes, I heard that. So, my darling, you can't just set up yours. You have to learn. Yes. And I learned. I didn't start out as being the easy of my organization. I first started as under one organization where they made me, I said it when they made me the CRO and I was even scared. From there, I graduated into, they formed the coalition. I was the assistant secretary. All of these positions I rejected, though, it practically fell on my lap. You must do it. And then I started growing. I grew from being an assistant secretary into when they needed to be a state election, they said, and just go for deputy. And I ran deputy for 2 years. And at that point, my organization in the state affiliated with a national organization, Nigeria Society Situation Room. And then I was always going for situation room meetings. For those of you familiar with Nigeria Society Situation election, before you know it, there was an election, and somebody said, I know you can do it. And it fell on my lap. So I have been growing. I didn't wake up to be an ED. And if you listened when I was speaking, I said at some point, I also still stepped down from this role to go and learn and come back. So we continue to learn. To be able to learn the rope, to be able to learn service, you have to be under someone. There are a lot of organizations to volunteer. The basic thing is that youth nowadays don't want to volunteer. Everybody wants to be paid, everybody wants money. But you need to volunteer. You need to learn. In my space, there are some things I need to learn right now. There is another organization who knows better than I do on that. So let me just break it down. We are doing data collection on SGBV. I do a lot of SGBV, but I have a problem with collecting my data. Now, I sit under the person, and she's teaching me and a few others on how to do it. She's my fellow colleague, but I do ask, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Why? Because I need to learn. So, yes, you might have ideas, but you need to build. There are quite a whole lot that you need to learn. So, my darling, look for one organization in your state and volunteer. And different organizations and their different thematic areas. Look for the one you like to participate in, that you think resonates with you, that you think is on your path, and volunteer. You get it? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Annie. Just keep learning. Volunteering is lifelong learning. So we have, is that Abuja? Abuja, please can you with our question? We have some on the chat that we can attend to all.
Yeah, good day. Good day, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
we can hear you.
My name is Chima Sokoli, and I must confess that it's been great hearing about your story, Annie, and how you have navigated several paths. A very important question that I have to ask is, what's your true North Star? You have evolved from microbiology, done a whole lot. What's your true North Star, even as you were navigating, so that you did not get lost while you were acquiring new things? How were you able to keep yourself on track? I know this is what I'm supposed to do at this point, and this is what I'm not supposed to do at that point. Because, of course, you know that the space is expansive and there are 1,000,001 things that can be done. So what was your spine, as in where?
Yes. So, are you still speaking? Okay. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. So, to be honest, that's why I have put setback on one of and reflect on one of my slides. The truth is, this space is very wide. I got lost a few times. I did get lost. It's not all success stories. I did get lost. But one of the things that reshaped me was when I started my journey, I had a few people I had discussed what I had in mind. Yes, I was going to evolve. I knew I was going to evolve in all I was doing, but I didn't want to get lost. I didn't want to put my hands in, you're doing this, you're doing that, good governance in state, FOI, everything. I didn't want to get involved at that point. So I have people I had discussed, this is what I have in mind. This is what I intend to do. And like I said sometime in my conversation, I had my circle of influence. And I wish that I could talk about that circle of influence, but there's no time because these are people that will constantly remind you. That's why you have to select the right people in your circle of influence. They are people that will constantly help you navigate. When you're missing it, they bring you back. When you're going astray, they remind you, oh, you have said you were going to do this. They help you somehow tick the boxes. I have two right now in Abuja. You know, I was doing something last year for an organization, and he called me and spoke to me on the phone for 45 minutes. And he said, Annie, I said, sir, how are you, sir? He said, you know, I don't call you every time. You are not supposed to be doing this for this organization. You have gone beyond this. Do this for yourself because they come, they use you, and then they take the glory for themselves because they are organization. So do this and do this and do this. So I said, thank you. So I have about 3 of them like that help me. So at different stages in my life, I have people I remove from my circle of influence and put back. Put someone else there to help me navigate because whether you like it or not, you see this space is so wide that you can get lost in it. So you need someone of like mind who has been there, has done that. The people I'm talking about are way elder than me. So they find a way of saying, no, young lady, come back to this point. This is where you have missed it. Come back here. You know, so that I hope that helps.
Okay, that's very true. So you need to, what I want to call it, mentorship. People who will mentor you at different times, right? Great.
Yeah.
So let's go to Shugbo. Shugbo, please, can you unmute? Abuja, please get ready.
If you volunteer yourself for a service and they are not treating you well, what do you do to not to lose interest in continuing that work?
Did you get that question, Annie?
Okay. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now, my darling, when you want to volunteer, a while ago, I won't have had an answer to this, but now I do have an answer to this. When you want to volunteer, look at the organization very well. You get that? Don't just jump into an organization because you want to volunteer. A lot of organizations, unfortunately, are lacking with respect to their volunteers. Now, for those in the NGO space and CSO space, we have some documents that are backing volunteers now. There's a name we call it. The policy documents, you know, on sexual harassment, on bullying. It's a policy. Sorry, I'm trying to remember the exact name. You know, but that's why most organizations now have HR, human resource, to be able to address some of this. I try to remember this policy before we end this session so I can say it. So look for an organization that the staff don't leave all the time. There are some organizations that they employ today, next week they are employing the same positions again. Take your time and study the organization before you volunteer. Some organizations can kill your zeal. But if you find yourself in that position, that you're not being treated right, you're being bullied, nothing you do is ever good, they don't treat you like a human being, you can take a bow and volunteer somewhere else. That's one of the setbacks you face. That's one, so it's not all roses. That's one of the setbacks that you face. You face a setback, you look at it and say, this person cannot stop what I want to do. And then you try again. So if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself up and try again. I hope that helps.
Okay, thank you very much. And that's interesting to have a little boy who is talking about volunteering. Catch them young. Yeah, so Abuja, please unmute. I would like you to ask all of your questions. I'm so excited. Abuja is always, you know, on point. Yeah, so please ask all of your questions at once before we move to American Center Lagos.
Okay, before I ask my question, I would love to address the lady from Bauchi that asked a question. She said she has many things, so many ideas in her mind. She doesn't know. My name is Livina, first of all. So the lady said she has so many ideas in her mind. She doesn't know the one to start with. Yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't get that part. Sorry about that.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I said I
Okay.
didn't get
Yes,
that part.
yes,
Sorry about that.
yes, we can
Okay,
hear
I
you.
said my name is Livina. Then before I ask my question, I would love to address the lady from Bauchi that says she has many things in her mind, so many ideas, and she doesn't really know the particular one to start with, or whether she should go for volunteerism, or she should just she just starts as a founder or find a person to share her idea. One thing she should do, first of all, is number one, she needs to discover herself. Having many ideas doesn't really mean that she has discovered herself. So she has to work on a discovery journey. And she alone needs to be on that journey with maybe a trusted mentor. She can also be her mentor for the start. Now, she needs to, according to what we learned today, we learned about impact assessment. She needs to measure the impact, whatever she has in her mind. She needs to know whether they align, if there is an alignment. Now, if there is an alignment, then she needs to start assessing what she wants to do, how she wants to achieve it, according to our speaker. Then whether whatever she has in mind, whether it's the impact of it to the society, and discover she has to take assessment, the impact assessment, very serious, according to what we learned today. Now, once she has done this, then she would look for organizations where she would volunteer in alignment with the discovery she has made and her journey. After that, I think then maybe after volunteerism and learning. Okay, my question is, the question I have is, now you talk about collaborating with people that steal your idea, that it doesn't stop you from continuous, telling people what you have in mind. I've discovered that some people doesn't have ideas. What they like is they want to get what you are doing, then try to attach themselves and start doing the exact thing you are doing. How do you differentiate how do you, come to the point of trusting people like me? I don't think I trust anybody anymore. I'm sorry for
Can you
that.
go ahead with your question?
Trusting people
Go ahead to your question.
Your idea.
Please.
Can you hear me? How do you
Just go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
My question is, how do you trust people with your idea, as in now knowing fully well that it might be very, very difficult to trust people with what you have, what you are building on, to avoid stealing. And when you talk of collaborating with schools, working with some government offices like SELB and all of them to get approval is becoming difficult. How do you navigate these processes? Thank you.
So we have another one. So
all right, so hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Muna Okoli, and then I'll just get right to the point. So while you were talking, you mentioned that service has the power to spark and effect change in the young generation. And this is my question. So what if instead of sparking change or positivity, it sparks fear? I'll just give maybe an illustration to give a context to what I'm trying to ask. So you have a few people say, okay, very recently I saw on IG where somebody said a certain amount of money was paid into the person's account, and he knew that that money was not meant for him, and he went to the bank to, raise an alarm that's okay, so and so amount of money that does not belong to me was sent into my account, and it turned into something else. So they got him arrested. He was in a room without access to maybe legal representative for a couple of hours, if not that he knew maybe by the time, because they were kind of like trying to get him to admit that he knew something about the money and all of that. So when young people actually hear instances like this, it can actually spark fear. Yes, or a negative effect instead of, inspiring people to actually do stuff. So how do you handle things like this? Thank you.
So is that all from Abuja? Okay, Annie, please over to you. I hope you got all the questions.
Yes, I'm just going to try and respond. Okay, so first, sorry, that young lady, she can't discover herself if she does not volunteer. She has to volunteer. She learns. She has to be under someone to find herself. She can't just, because now she has a whole lot in her head. So she has to take a certain direction, and she can't do that without volunteering under someone or under an organization. Just say she can't, she needs to be under some level of mentorship. As with mentorship and volunteering, she has to be under some level of mentorship. Then we talked about trust issues. You see, we've had this issue. We're still having it. We will still continue to have it. But one thing that does save you in all of this is that when it's your idea, there are a lot of things that you will not share. I have colleagues I open up fully to. I've had colleagues I have opened up to and say, see what I want to do, you're the one that has the funding, and they go away with it. And you see them doing the project, and then I'm like, but this was my idea. I've seen that a lot. But now, two things you can do. If you're going to partner with an organization, there must be an MOU. Friendship or no friendship. Some friends in Abuja taught me that. I recently needed someone to write something for me. And he has told me, Sammy, I know I'm your friend, though. I know I'm like a senior friend to you. But you have promised you don't have money, you will pay because you're supposed to pay a consultant, and that is what. He said, let's just sign an MOU. That when the money comes, you will give me the one that is there that you put as consultant for what I did. You will give me my money. And we did. So to help your trust issues, you can have an MOU. It's important. Everything, even normal friendship nowadays, you give money or you do something and the person goes with it. So it's better to have an MOU. So at the end of the day, people know that, this is where, when you bring that document, people understand that, this is this person's idea. Now, I can meet you for an idea and tell you this is what I want to do, and I want us to partner together. There'll be a document to show that it's my idea, it's my brainchild. I made this mistake for years, but now I no longer make it. When you come and say, Annie, let's partner, there's a place we will sign. If you will read it, I will read it. I will give it to my organization lawyer, they will read it. Yours too will read, and we'll bring it together, and then we all sign. But sometimes, something that always stands you out too. I have been to a meeting where someone was supposed to discuss an idea that we shared. It was a program. And before then, I talked about, this is what I think we can do to solve this particular problem. I think it was a police-related issue. And so there was a program. And I was in the first panel. And when I was done with my panel, it was this panel. And so they talked about the conversation. Everything I told him that after this conversation, this is what we're going to do, private custody and all of that. My dear friend shared it on that panel. I didn't mind. He didn't give, at least if it was me, I would have said, earlier I had a conversation and this was what we talked about. He didn't give accolades to who had given those points that he shared. But he got to a place he could not pass there. And so when it was time for them to now say, please, can the audience give their contribution? I took the microphone and continued from where it stopped and buttressed on the points he made. The organizers didn't need anybody to know where the conversation was actually coming from. So at the end of the day, they now met me. Oh, did you have this conversation with him? I said, yes. We both did. Okay, please, we would like both of you to be in the committee, but it's obvious he's a man. But because you seem like you know more on this subject topic than he does.
Okay.
So sometimes, whether they feel it or not, they can't take away all the ideas from your head. It's there. It's in you. So please, do not give up.
Okay.
Then, working with government agencies, you have to navigate it. You can't do without them. At a point, we had issues with some of them. When you go, they will tell you they want the groups that you're sharing, they want this, they want money, they want all of that. But now what we do, we've reached out to private schools. If government schools say you should not come, there are a lot of private schools that are willing to allow you to meet with them. If those ones too also say don't come, there are other mediums. In my presentation, I talked about leveraging on media. There are a lot of people that do TikTok short videos. There are a lot of people that do what's it called, Facebook videos. Put it out there, share it. One way or the young children nowadays they have phones, internet phones. They will see your message. So please do not let any of all of this deter you. We also face those challenges, but we find our way around it.
All right. Thank you very much.
The last person talked about fear. I think she said something about police and then young people. We will not stop doing the best that we can. The police are started with the responsibility. We are started with ours. Please try and do yours. You understand? So that you will be remembered for what you have done. We have this, as the speaker said, we still have these challenges in my state here. Even though we are making headway, we are still having these challenges. But at some point, we found a way to have these conversations with them. Oh, these things people are doing not right. Can it be done like this? Can you do this like this? You know, so and funny enough, the CP we have now in the States is an IVLP alumni too. So he's one amazing person who, when you tell this is what is going on, you understand and it finds a solution. So you can also work, don't just work in your space alone, also reach out to some of these stakeholders. It's important.
Thank you very much. Please, Annie, let's keep the answers very short, and then our participants, let's keep the questions very short because we have a lot of questions so I can get to everybody. So can we get to American Center Lagos? And then Oka gets set after, then we can now attend to questions in the chat box.
My question is how do you work on family barrier and show in our community as is wise from the national research side? Hello.
Hello, Annie. Did you get the question?
No, I didn't. It's breaking.
Because I didn't
get
it's
that.
breaking.
I'm sorry, my question is how do you overcome that barrier?
We still cannot hear you. We still cannot hear you.
Can you use the chat box? I'm sure we can read it.
You're not audible. Can you put it in the chat box, okay? Thank you. All right, Oka, please, can you unmute? Go ahead, Oka. Okay, Oka, you're not set. Can I go straight to the questions on the chat box? So one of the questions we have is from the American Space, Nigeria. How can educational institutions integrate volunteerism into their curricula to instill a lifelong, let me see, that's a long question. Okay, a lifelong commitment to service in students and what impact
Can we go ahead
I
now?
can just quickly.
Can we go ahead now, ma'am?
No.
Okay, hold on.
Okay,
And
ma'am.
you can answer the question on the chatbot.
Yes, I can just quickly respond to this. The
Hello?
educational institutions integrate volunteerism into their
Yeah.
curricula to instill a lifelong commitment. Now, a lot of them will not want to do that. It's not like they don't. So what I expect you to do is simple. Please reach out to relevant authorities. That's why it's important in whatever you do as you grow. Make sure you have partners. And you grow to a point where you now have stakeholders in this conversation. Now, if we have something we intend to put in the school curriculums now, we discuss, we broker meetings with our governor, we broker meetings with the Commissioner of Education, and we have this conversation. We think that you should do this. It will help do this. It might take time, but trust me, at some point, you will start getting necessary feedback. There was a time we always talked about culture. We were losing our cultural value in the state. But as I speak to you, it has been imbibed now back into it. Are we taking the glory? No. But it's something that we are happy saying. So please, these are conversations for relevant stakeholders. You know.
All right. So, Oka, can you unmute and ask your question?
Hey, ma'am. Number one. Oh, yeah, come forward.
Okay, so good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay.
Go ahead, quickly.
My name is Dominic. Okay, my first question is this. How do you integrate volunteerism into your career path? And then my second question is this. If you had to go back in time to give an advice to your younger self, what would it be? Thank you.
Ma, please hold on. The questions are many. So when you answer, then when they ask the questions, you can answer, or they should ask all the questions immediately.
Let's take 2 questions for now.
Okay.
We have other questions to ask.
Quickly.
Okay, good afternoon, ma'am. My first question is, my name is Joseph. My first question is, how do one prioritize their time when volunteering? And my second question is, I volunteered for a company, through LinkedIn. So, I feel like the time I'm giving to them, they are not neutralizing it, and I'm not giving the impact I'm supposed to be giving to them, and I'm not, because volunteering requires growth and impact. So my second question is, how can I ensure when my volunteering works create a lasting impact, that just not just for to help them, but also to give an impact to the company? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just to quickly respond. You need to, I'm starting with the last speaker, please. You need to know where you want to volunteer. Don't just go to any organization because you want to. Make sure it's an organization that is on your path, on your career path, or on what you have in your mind, what you want to do. And make sure it's an organization, like I said, that has some policies that will make you relevant. We have a lot of big organizations that people want to volunteer, but they don't treat their volunteers right. They don't see them as anything. We also have some very good organizations that they have stipends for their volunteers. When their volunteers do something right, they celebrate them. I know a few of them because I've followed most of them. You know, so it's your duty to search these ones out. Some of them are online. For example, if you're in Abuja, FLAC, I know FLAC does volunteering for some of their projects they want to do, and they tell you they can provide accommodation and daily transportation for a month. That's an organization that appreciates volunteers. So there are quite a whole lot of them. Just search them out. Take your time, go on the internet, search them out, see if they have their staff policies and all of that, and then apply to volunteer. Then volunteerism and career path. I'm trying to. Okay, you said if I want to change something in the past, what will I change? I will go back in the past and volunteer on time. I'm sure I would have grown more than I am now. You know, I would have gone back. The only thing I would have changed in my past was that when I was having some life issues I would have started volunteering. I wouldn't have stayed back and stayed at home and moved and say, oh God, I wish I could change this that happened to me. I wish I could change. I would have just gone all out and volunteered earlier than when I came into the space. Then volunteerism and career path. If you want to, if you're choosing a career path, it's still the same as volunteering. Your career path and what you want to volunteer for, they are almost the same thing. So what you do is, they're not two different things. It is a lifestyle, like I have talked about. Volunteerism is a lifestyle. Service is a lifestyle. Your career path is a lifestyle. They must all align to work together for your good and for your time and for the community you intend to give back to. I hope I answered those questions.
Yeah, thank you very much. So can you please straight to the point?
I'm not done with our questions.
Please, can we ask for Kano, because there's so much question we need to ask. Kano, please come straight. Okay, just hold on. If we have more time, we'll get back to you. Good afternoon. Go ahead, please.
With all the beauty in volunteerism work, you see, we live in a society where services and volunteerism are not being recognized, both by individuals and sometimes institutions. You see degrees are being awarded to people just because they are rich.
Can you go straight to your question, please?
So the question is, what word of affirmation, what encouragement will you give to young volunteers in Nigeria so that they continue with their volunteering endeavors? Thank you.
Annie, did you get that question?
Yes, I did. So my advice, don't dim your light. Just keep shining. Now, keep shining white. Even if people do not appreciate your work, the work is there, it will speak for you, one. Two, that work that you have done, when you are no longer there, you will be remembered for it. So whether people appreciate you or not, please, and I think that we need to stop looking for accolades. When I started out, I wasn't looking for accolades, it was me. I just wanted to be a change in my society. Even family didn't find it funny. Like I said, only my mom appreciated me. So like, don't be like this. In civil society space, it's just men. How can you be the girl in their midst? In fact, it got to a point that the church I was going to then, my pastor had preached one day to say, I can only be in the midst of those men because I am sleeping with them. And that's how I left the church. It was that bad. So I didn't grow to those points without criticism. I did. I read a whole lot. But did it stop my shine? No. So please, as a young person, it is you. And while you're doing it, just know that your service is intertwined with your growth. You're learning. You become more confident. Whatever people have to say, that's their business. If they're not interested, that's their business. But it helps for personal growth. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So let's hear from Ibadan. There's a question here from Ibadan. Please, I have 3 areas of inadequacies that I have observed in our society. I would like to volunteer to control. That's garbage. This person is talking about volunteering to take out garbage on the street, food insufficiency in the country. Wow, that's huge. Abuse of substance among our youth. The question is, are there organizations already functioning in this area that you can recommend? So this is talking about recommendation to volunteer in this area, food, garbage on the street, and all of that.
Okay, so first, I'm sure there's a Ministry of Health in your state. You can reach out to them too. Tell them you want to volunteer. There was a time I volunteered with the ministry in my state here. That was a few years ago. I still have pictures for that. We went to different markets for sensitization on how they should keep their markets clean. I did partner with them on that. I didn't get a dime, but that also was part of some of the things that brought me to the limelight anyway. So you need to reach out. Some of these people will not come to you. You're the one who wants to volunteer, who wants to grow. So reach out to them, please. I would like to volunteer. How can I come in? If it's every Saturday when you go do the cleanup in the market, how can I volunteer? How can I help with volunteering? And yes, there are organizations that also do that. So in your state, I'm sure, I don't know which state that is, but I know in most of
That's
the states, I'm
Ibadan.
familiar with one
Ibadan.
of, what?
Ibadan, American Corner Ibadan.
I should know an NGO in Ibadan. There's a group in the nation, there are different NGOs in the state. So you can reach out to any of them and tell them what to volunteer on this. Everyone has their different thematic here. And what you intend doing is beautiful. Thank you for that initiative, and I'd like you to take a step further. Meet with your ministry and tell them you like to volunteer.
I can add to that. So you can simply go to maybe the Ministry of Environment. You're talking about environment.
Yes, Ministry of Health and Environment. Sorry.
Ministry of Environment. And then their NGOs are registered within the state. So you can always go there to check the database for NGOs from different areas.
Yes,
all
from
right.
their thematic areas.
Yeah. So we also have from American Center Lagos, how do you overcome language barrier when volunteering in a different environment? How do you overcome language barrier when you're in a different environment?
There's a common language that we all speak, and that language is Pidgin English. Even old person go hear them, elderly person go hear them. Whatever their language is, they will hear. Everybody hears Pidgin. So if I go to a community and I need to send a message across, I reach out to someone who can speak their language, but trust me, the person really cannot say it the way you can say it. So better still, I make another vex, so I want to send this message and say it in Pidgin. I do that a lot because you alone can pass your message, you alone can volunteer with your message, and everyone hears Pidgin, even though they have their own language here. But Pidgin English is, let me just say, it's the most accepted general language apart from English in Nigeria. So please go ahead.
All right. So another question is, do you mentor people from American Space Nigeria? Do you mentor people out of your state of residence? Do you do that?
Yes, but not right now. So what I can do is I can direct you to other colleagues or senior colleagues in those states that can mentor you.
All right. Okay. So let's go to Calabar. As a volunteer at the American Corner for the past 2 years, I have attended several sessions and gained invaluable skills and built connections that has greatly affected my personal and career development. I would love to also okay, this is for you, Mr. Itayo. When Mr. Ita comes on board, this person is asking to, facilitate a session. This is from the lecturer who spoke earlier, who asked a question earlier. Okay. Kindly share your social media handles for those of us that would like to follow you. We'd like to follow you to see what you're doing, to learn from you. You're doing a great job. Please, can you kindly share it in the group chat so that everybody can get it? And then while you're doing that, there's another question from Lagos, American Center Lagos. In a situation where a volunteer wants to carry out an empowerment project in the community, and he approached the community leader to get their consent, and they are asking the volunteer to part with a certain amount of money before he can carry out the project. What do you advise the volunteer to do in such a situation? Money first before you attend to my need. To come and impact your community. Oh.
So we see that a lot. But you have to explain to them what the money is meant for. You have to explain to them this is what the money is meant for. You can just tell them that what you can do is that you can give them money for drinks. These community people and drink in their 5 and 6. But that this money, explain what it is for. And that you have to give account to the donors that gave it to you. Accountability. Don't be offended. They've been doing it and getting away with it before. Other people have been going there to do it. I've done projects where they will tell us, you have to bring this, it's a must. And I say, I'm sorry, I have to give account. Everything I have to give you, you have to sign for it. And some of these people, when you bring paper to sign, they don't want to sign. So, but I think that if they don't, if the community does not, but if you have to do a project too, and this is for the record, you need to liaise with the community what they want. This is the problem we are having with our politicians. We assume that we know what a particular community wants. You can ask them, this is what we are doing. How can we support you? And then also let them have this sense of belonging to that project. It also helps. How can we come in and share your ideas? Let's see what we can do. These community people will tell you, and we also help you to, how do I put it now? Help you not to spend your money unnecessarily. They will tell you
Yeah.
what to need and what not to need. So give them a sense of belonging in the project you want to do. Don't just go and say, we want to do this. They will want to collect money.
Yeah.
You know, but try and bring them into whatever project you're doing.
And I can quickly add to that. I know that there's what we call community entrance. So once you want to have any project within the community, first look for the youth leader or the women leader, speak with them first, let them understand what you're about before you go straight to meet the chiefs. If not, you'll buy drinks until you're tired. So please take that little clue. Okay, do we have more questions in the chat that has not been answered? Okay, so what are the biggest benefits of volunteering for volunteers and the community? What was the biggest benefit so that we can quickly wrap up? Our time is fast spent. That's the last
benefit
question.
is you creating a society where your people can feel very safe and conducive for them. That's one. Two, you are also learning. In volunteering, your biggest benefit is you also grow as a volunteerism tool.
All right.
You know, so for me, those two is key.
Yeah, so we are wrapping up the Q&A session, and I'll be handing over to my director at the American Space in Lagos, Mr. Itayo Samuel. He's going to take the session. And I know there was a question out there for him. I wonder if you would like to take it. Thank you so much, Annie. That was a beautiful presentation. Thank you for sharing your experiences as a volunteer. And have you dropped your link, your social media? Okay.
Yeah, I just dropped my Facebook name and my WhatsApp number.
And the WhatsApp number. Thank you so much. So
can we put our hands together for Hani and Han? So the two, Anil and Han, you've done so well. And also let's put our hands together for Samuel Ede as well. I need to remind you, the theme for this workshop is volunteerism for personal transformation and national development. Over the past 5 years, you will have found out that volunteerism is a powerful catalyst for personal transformation. When you step into roles that serve others without expecting reward, you have opportunities to learn free of charge life skills like empathy, leadership, teamwork, and problem solving. But the unfortunate thing is, just like the speaker of today said, we're always looking for reward for services rendered to either our community or to people around us. That culture must change. Volunteerism encourages you to grow beyond your comfort zones. That's where you can build resilience. You can't just stay at home and build resilience, emotional intelligence, or that strong sense of purpose. It is when you see a problem and you attack the problem, work with others, that's when you begin to see those God-given gifts that have been dying and lying fallow in your life. In short, what I'm saying is this: volunteerism fosters self-recovery, discovery, and confidence. And finally, I want to say this. Imagine all of us who are listening to us today. If you could make up your mind to be a lifelong volunteer, what do you think will happen to your community? We blame politicians. Politicians, sincerely, 99.9% are not there for you. We all know this. So why can't we take this development of our environment into our own hands and do something about it? Mobilize yourselves. Address all those needs that are in your community. There's so many problems. Like you and I know, if we don't do anything to these problems, of course, they will remain with us. And with this, I really want us to reflect on these past 5 weeks. The US government is not putting all the resources out there just for fun. We're trying to build a culture of volunteerism. Are you ready to take up that task? That's the question. So I want to thank everyone who has made this possible for the past few weeks, our directors in all locations, and you who have been coming and going. We're trying to add a twist to those who are going to be giving certificates. So please listen. Instead of the 80%, we are reducing it to 60% participation. But you have to promise us that you are going to watch the 2 sessions that you have missed on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@AmericanSpacesNigeria. @AmericanSpacesNigeria. And we expected you to come and watch it within our American Spaces. So once your director is aware that you have read through or you have watched through, then your name will be added to the list of those who will receive the certificates. So we want to thank you. Annie, thank you very much for participation today. You see that we all enjoyed it, and we wish you all the best. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Remember, we have Education USA Awareness Program or Orientation. The same day, we also have eLibrary USA Awareness Program as well. Please, our eLibrary USA is very, very easy now to have access to it. Before you go, you can ask the director, what should I do? And you can begin the process right away. So thank you, everybody. I will wish you a restful night.